Okay, it's not a secret that the SMT games are a series that has certain themes inspired by horror and the sense of dread that horror media gives us. That is why we have scenes like this, and this. These games use the dark atmosphere, the isolation, and the disturbing imagery to make the games feel unnerving and uncomfortable. But out of all these multiple instances in the series, there is one scene that is more terrifying, more intense than the rest. It is a man simply standing up from his chair. Okay, I might need to do some explaining here. But before I do that, you need some context. Steven is a character that we don't know much about. So much so that we aren't even sure what he is. At the very start, all the way back in SMT1, he is introduced to us simply as a crippled man who created the demon summoning program after the failure of the Terminal System project, which released demons to the human world. He created the demon summoning program in hopes that people will ally with the demons and prevent the obliteration of Tokyo, so he sent it out to as many people as he can. But by doing that, he gets captured by Godo and is imprisoned in the Echo building. This is where we first meet him. You save him and he explains everything that I said above and makes an upgrade to your comp. After that, we rarely see him, and when he does show up, it's usually to make upgrades to the comp, which allow us to store and summon more demons. But what he really is and what he will be for the rest of the series wouldn't be solidified until the next game. Come SMT2, his character received a few changes. He has become more mysterious with the way he operates and his motives, if it weren't already back in SMT1. I mean, in SMT1, his appearance in various places makes sense. He can use the terminal system to move around. But he somehow also shows up in this game, which is supposed to take place 30 years after the event of the first one. But we first hear of him in a bar, where a drinker informs Aleph about a guy in a wheelchair appearing in the virtual battles despite not being part of the program. And lo and behold, that is where we exactly meet him, in the virtual battlers. After introducing himself, he prophesies the great calamities and the downfall of Tokyo Millennium that it will bring. Along with that, he explains that he is looking for strong warriors to give the demon summoning program to, saying that if humanity doesn't learn how to use the power of the demons as their own, they will be destroyed by it. And that is the reason why he keeps appearing in virtual battlers. After that, he gives you the demon summoning program. For the rest of the game though, his appearances are optional, all of them in virtual battles across the district of Tokyo Millennium and the Underworld. If you choose to go and meet him, he will give you upgrades to the demon summoning program. But that's not the end though. He appears much later in the game in ASOT. Or is it ASOT? Whatever. There, he activates the terminal technology used in the Abyss for Aleph, so that he can save the game and teleport himself whenever he likes. And much later on, if you choose the neutral route, he teleports Aleph to Eden after he defeats the dragon Kuzuryu. And that pretty much sums up what he does in these games. He guides and helps the protagonist along the journey to make the decision between law and chaos. And despite being portrayed as an outside observer in the alignment decision, he favors the neutral alignment, usually appearing in the route to further help the protagonist. Why? Well, we'll get to that one later. So after SMT2, he doesn't appear much in games, and even if he does, it's very short and doesn't affect the core or plot of the game. Like in SMTif ... where he is mentioned very briefly in the introduction of the story as the person who uploaded the demon summoning program to the school's network via a quote-unquote suspicious network. And if you beat all the routes in the game, he will appear saying that he wants to talk, and the scene just ends right there. What does he want to talk about? Yeah, about that. We have no idea. After that, he makes an appearance in SMT9, but I haven't played it, so I don't know much about it. He also has an appearance in SMT Imagine. In it, he describes the events of SMT1. Yep, that's all he does in that game. Steven wouldn't make an appearance in the game for a very long time. Until SMT4, that is. Like in SMT2, in SMT4, Steven returns as a guide to the protagonist. In this case, it's this guy named Flynn. We first encounter him in Ulrain's domain, where he introduces himself to the party. He also mentions that a little girl has taken interest in Flynn, and then he offers to heal the party in the room further ahead if they are injured. The next time he appears is in a dream after the Horde of Lilims does whatever this is to Flynn. In it, he tells him that she is waiting for him to the east, and then vanishes. And later, he also appears again in Naruku, at the temporary scaffolding floor, where he updates the demon summoning program and disappears again. From this point on, unless you chose the neutral route, that would be the last time we see him in the game. Otherwise, you will meet him once again much later on in the monochrome forest, where he requests Flynn to eliminate all the whites who still have control over the expanse, despite being rejected by choosing not to end the world. After you do that, he explains a lot of lore, like what Flynn's past identity is and how he created burrows to find Flynn. But most important thing is that the girl that has taken interest in Flynn is actually the goddess of Tokyo, and by lifting the barrier with the help of Masakado, she can be restored to her original state. That is the last time we see of him in the game. I mean, he also appears in DLC side quests called For the Past, For the Future. In it, he explains a lot more lore about SMT4 and many other interesting stuff. I'll just give you a short summary. Steven takes Flynn and burrows back to the day the Great Cataclysm took place via time travel, and made Flynn create a dome that protected Tokyo from annihilation by fighting Masakados. Following SMT4, Steven once again appears in the What If scenario game, SMT4 Apocalypse. Apocalypse is Steven's most recent and memorable appearance in the series, where a lot about him and SMT lore in general is revealed to us. Just like in the previous games, he pops up from time to time, guiding the party to the west and helping them occasionally. And because this game is an alternate What If for SMT4, Steven's motive appeared to be the same as it was in SMT4, to restore the goddess of Tokyo. The most notable thing he does other than throw hints at you in this game is that he transferred the party to the universe for them to defeat the creator and bring true freedom for humanity. And this is where we discover something about him, his true motives, the desire to see the potential of humanity. As such, he favors Dagda's road, where Nanashi will have to kill without the help of others and become the new creator. But that's not all. When I said that Apocalypse is Steven's most memorable appearance, it was not because of the base game or the stuff that he does in it. It is because of the DLC side quest, Messiahs in the Diamond Realm. But before we get to that, I'm pretty sure most of you are wondering what Steven is. So allow me to explain it to you. Also, this part is kind of confusing, so listen carefully. Despite the fact that he has immense powers and knowledge, Steven is just a human. Kinda. The powers that he has is because of an entity known as the Great Will, or the Axiom. If you thought that we don't have much knowledge about Steven, the Axiom is on a whole nother level. But there are some things that are confirmed about it. Firstly, we know that it's the creator of the Amala multiverse, an infinite plane of existence where the Megami Tensei franchise takes place in. This includes Persona as well as other games like Devil Survivor or Digital Devil Saga. As he is the creator of the multiverse, people associate him with or God, but that's not correct. The Axiom looks over all of the multiverse with an avatar assigned to each universe. Is one of those avatars, As such, he only exists in a universe that he is assigned to, and if he is killed in said universe, he will cease to exist in it. The avatars are usually law-aligned and the final bosses of the game, but ultimately they exist as a test of strength for the residents of the universe. Why is the Axiom testing the residents? Well, we don't know. In fact, we don't even know what its motives are. Another thing that is confirmed is that and other avatars of the Axiom do not fully understand the Great Will. They only know that they are created to look over the universe. It is said that only transcended beings are able to understand the Great Will. A transcended being is a being that transcended the cycle of samsara that humans go through due to being trapped in a body of flesh and bones. This led to people theorizing that these beings are Buddha or someone who has attained nirvana, but it is also not confirmed, so I can't comment on it. Along with that, they also can travel to space, time, and the multiverse. There are 4 transcended beings that we currently know of. They are Saint Germain, Mito, the fusion guy, a cat named Schrodinger, and of course, the topic of this video, Steven. Each of them are respectively inspired by people who has existed in real life. With that knowledge, let's move on to the messiahs of the Diamond Realm. It starts off with Steven bending the laws of the universe and summoning the hero of SMT1, who I will be calling Kazuya, Aleph, the Demi-Fiend, and Flynn from the original SMT4 timeline, to the Diamond Realm. Why? To prevent them from getting removed from the reincarnation cycle by... He also summons Nanashi, and Steven instructs him to, quote-unquote, find the other messiahs and guide them back to the world, promising Nanashi that he will lend him his power even if that means bending the rules set by the Axiom. Nanashi then meets Aleph, Demi-Fiend, and alternate Flynn, helping them with battle. After that, Steven reveals a blue orb, which is Kazuya. He tells Nanashi to use his powers of observation to return him into his original form. To achieve that, he fights Nanashi. And the battle is tough. Possibly one of the hardest battles in the series. You will die multiple times, I can promise that, but it's just a taste of what's about to come. After you prove your strength to him, Kazuya returns to his normal form, and all the messiahs burst into the room. This is where the titular scene in my intro commences. He stands up from his wheelchair, and finally explains his true motives.
Let's go.
So why does this feel scary, or if not, at least somewhat unnerving? And no, it's not because of the glowing eyes. We know from the dialogue that Steven is not holding back, and he is serious. After all, he is bending the rules of the most powerful thing ever. And there is a genius trick that Atlus used to convey that what he's saying is sincere and serious. Saying that I'm not sure if it was intentional or accidental, and that is making Steven stand up. But why does this matter? Well, a human's defining factor is that we are bipedal, and that allows us to move fairly quickly and stand up straight. Thus, when we see someone sitting down, we get an image of insecurity or laziness or damage. This is why we stand up when we greet our teachers or when we are talking to a judge. And this is also the reason why when you hear disabled, we immediately think of a person who can't walk or have problems walking. Also, I like the fact that Steven is constantly sitting down on his wheelchair. It implies that Steven is so powerful that most universal matters are not something he deemed important to him. But by standing up, Steven suggests that he is being serious and is putting actual effort in for the first time since he became an enlightened being. And after you see firsthand what he can do while sitting down while he was holding back, seeing him stand up is, well, terrifying as you assume the worst outcome. And what follows does not disappoint. It is one of the hardest fights ever made. Hey, so this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. I know that I haven't been really posting anything lately. That's because of school and tests and stuff. But now that school is closed, I hope that I can post videos regularly. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on my Twitter. Links in the description. So yeah, like and subscribe. It will help me out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you next time.